Hello everybody. In the last video, and actually in the videos before, I asked you whether you have any topics you would like me to discuss. And so far I already have several. One of you, and this is already a while ago, asked me whether I wanted to talk about deism and why it is or isn't a flawed idea. And just recently Norteka came up with also a very good topic. He said this, and I will quote him: "If you can, would you mind explaining why we should use our bodily and or spiritual capacities for the ends to which they are ordered? To my knowledge, the notion of ordered in the sense in which I am using it derives from Thomistic and originally Aristotelian philosophy. So when something is ordered, we could say it is meant for something, or that this is its reason for existence." And then he uses a French word, and I'm not gonna try that. Anyway, it might not surprise you that I have to do some big thinking here. Why is it that people who actually seem way smarter than I am ask me these questions? I guess it's my own fault, so I'll take on the challenge. But first, let me do one more on Apologetic Arguments Made Simple. So, here we go. The common consent argument made simple. So this argument is in some way similar to the argument from religious experience. It argues that, in premise 1, believing God, that being to whom reverence and worship are properly due, is common to almost all people of every era and every culture. Number 2, either the vast majority of people throughout history have been terribly wrong about this most fundamental element of their lives, or they have not. Number 3, it's most plausible to believe that they have not. Number 4, therefore, it is most plausible to believe that God in fact does exist. Normally, most will just admit that religious belief is far-flung throughout the whole of our history. But does this unchallenged reality add up to the evidence in favor of the truth of these religious claims? Many skeptics just admit that the testimonies we have are very impressive. The vast majority of humans have believed in a God or some kind of higher power, a being to whom the proper response could only be reverence and worship. Normally, nobody will say that these feelings of awe and the urge of worship and the sacrifices people have brought for their faith are fake. I mean, no right-minded person would argue that a martyr died for something he or she didn't even believe in. So, yes, their faith was sincere. But if God does not exist, then these things have never ever made any sense, right? All these people, and we're not talking about just one or two, now all these people have been deluded by believing that what they did made any sense. Is it really plausible to believe that? Can it really be that we, the enlightened generation, are so much smarter? Well, you see, that's aching towards pride. Yes, even towards arrogance, I believe. So the urge and the mental ability to worship and adore and to think about the concept of a higher being seems to be ingrained in our nature. Moreover, it does look like that almost all have the longing to fulfill this so-called emptiness in our own being. It is interesting to see, for instance, that even atheists seem to have the urge to do something with these empty feelings. They organize atheist church. You might not believe it, but go and look it up on the internet. They organize and attend big rallies in which they encourage each other to hold on to the one true belief. Which belief? Well, the one that there is no supernatural realm. Oh well. Anyway, so I'm a nice guy. So I'll give our atheistic friends the benefit of the doubt. So let's argue like they do and say that those millions who all said to have found the Holy One, who is worthy of veneration and worship, yes, all those millions were actually deceived. Lying, maybe they were lying or they were even mentally ill. Would this be would this really be an intellectual, honest position to take? Would it be likely that they were all wrong? Well, if you think about it, it seems to me that those who argue that all these people, all these believers throughout the ages, were in some way a bit crazy, dumb, or even dishonest. It seems to me that they who say this are the ones who have the actual problem they try to mirror on others. But now the smart atheist will actually jump to the rescue of fellow, slightly less smart atheists. And the smart atheist will shout that I just committed the appeal to the people fallacy, also called the appeal to the majority. Just because a significant population of people believe a proposition is true, doesn't make it true, right? But let's consider this. We are not talking about a fixed moment in time. These millions are not living at this moment, but they testified about their faith throughout the ages. They have always been the majority, and their concept has never really changed much. We're not talking about medical insights or cosmological insight, because more often than not, the appeal to the majority fallacy popped up in these disciplines. I mean, why should you wash your hands before work with patients, right? I mean, the majority of doctors think it has no use, so who are you to state something else? But you see, this is a different situation. In the example of these doctors, we are talking about highly educated people who just refuse to think outside the box. With the belief in a higher being, we have seen that the awareness has been around so long and among so many different groups that we can safely assume that there has been many outside the box thinkers among them. Still, the majority firmly believed in a higher being. Some of them formulated their beliefs in very complicated ideas, while others just believed. But also, if God doesn't exist, what is it that believers have been feeling or experienced? Their experience goes further than any other example of collective error, like that of the aforementioned example of the doctors. We are not just talking about a group of people who hold fast to a faulty theory. No, this group actually experienced something way deeper than just a theoretical concept. Many who believe and have believed in God say that it is like having a relationship with a real person. But you see, if God never existed, neither did this relationship. They were answering with worship and love to nothing at all. And there would be nothing to receive and answer their worship and questions. It is like the poor child who lives in the slums, who truly believes he lives in a castle with golden doorknobs. So stating that all these people, from very high educated to the lowest of the lowest, were deluded, is like a blind person who denies the existence of the sun. And if you want to throw in a fallacy, because we're doing that right now anyway, you could even say that the skeptics and atheists themselves commit a logical fallacy, namely the snob appeal. This fallacy is really an appeal to everybody's natural urges to distinguish themselves from all the rest. It is an appeal to your inner snob. You see, real intelligent people have to be atheistic, right?
And I was suggesting that somebody as intelligent as Jesus would have been an atheist if he had known what we know today.
And we all heard this example. You believe in Jesus? You got to be joking, right? In this example, using snob appeal to turn someone from Jesus Christ, and the implication is that you are a lesser person because you believe in Jesus. That's the snob appeal. Okay, but we're not finished yet. Some non-believers will explain the argument of common consent away with evolutionary ideas. And this line of reasoning always makes me laugh a little bit. It gives away what I already argued. Even atheists have an urge to fill the gap. They do it with extraordinary faith in naturalistic ideas. They often start their stories like this. One of the skills that helped Homo succeed was imagination, an ability you can use now to picture how it developed. And since you now know how to use your ability to imagine, let's do it, shall we? So there was this ape-like creature, let's call her Ida, hanging around and not paying attention to its surroundings. All of a sudden, the bushes moved. Ida isn't paying much attention, and then a predator jumps out of the bushes and eats poor little Ida. Ida's friends see this and they develop a natural fear for moving bushes. Next time they see the bushes move, they run away, even if it's caused by the wind. So now, millions of years later, this nervous attitude is still there. But now we have a human-like creature called Lucy. And you see, Lucy is very smart. And she wants to know why the bushes move so often without an actual predator. So she examines the bushes and sees nothing. Lucy concludes that it was an invisible force that did it. Well, you see where I'm going, right? Just another million years later, this invisible force is being pleased with sacrifices because nobody wants to get eaten by a predator. And voila, a perfect explanation on how religion started. Really. So the evolutionary process ingrained religion in our brains because else we might get eaten. And yes, we're back at the snob appeal. The atheists know that we do not longer have to fear predators like Ida and Lucy did. So because they now know better, they also know we're no longer in need of religion. And guess what? They are the ones who belong to this special group who have this knowledge. And I always wonder why they advocate their viewpoint so loudly. Why would they want to give up their head start on the evolutionary ladder? That's not really beneficial, is it? Well, never mind. I'll leave the conclusions to you in the comment section. Speaking of which, I'm mostly active on my Odyssey channel. You can also comment on my videos on BitChute or YouTube, but I'm not very active on those two channels, so you most likely won't receive a reply there. Also, do take a look in the description of this video. You'll find ways to support me, or you could try and visit my website and read the transcript of this video. Might be a little bit easier to follow the video. I always try to make the transcript available in the Dutch language and English language. I would like to invite you to follow me on my Odyssey channel. Odyssey is a platform which is based on a protocol called Library, which in turn is built upon blockchain technology. Library is a decentralized protocol, community-driven and open source, meaning there is no just one company trying to force their ideas on you, without you being able to contribute whatsoever. You see, videos that are uploaded through the library protocol are censorship-free, unlike others. It would be great if you start following me there. Or if you want to start your own channel on Odyssey, you can use my invitation also in the description, and if you do, we will both receive some free LBC. Anyway, enough for today. As always, thank you for watching, God bless you, and we see each other in the next video. Thank you for watching this video. You can give me a thumbs up if you liked it. You can also subscribe to my channel, or even better, follow me on Odyssey. That way you will never miss a new video. You will find all the links in the description below.